Good morning and welcome to the latest edition of Wake Up with Wilder, our weekly look at the Old Dominion University football program. I'm Ted Alexander with head coach Bobby Wilder. Coach, I always ask you this time, when you get a chance to look at the film, oftentimes you see different things than you saw live. The performance against Florida Atlantic, what did the film show you?
Well, first of all, Ted, just an absolute punch in the gut for everybody. You know, he felt it during the game, after the game, yesterday when the kids come in. You know, my job is to get everybody back on track. All the coaches, players give good direction. And the first thing I always do in those situations, Ted, is say, hey, you know what, it's my responsibility to get this fixed, because that's not how we perform, particularly at home. When you have that kind of crowd show up, and they were really into it. And even still, Ted, as badly as I felt like we were playing, we scored to start the second half. It's 31-21. Defense stops them. I think, here we go. You know, we're going to snap out of it and get right back into it, and that just didn't happen. So you turn the video on, like this morning, we cover the anatomy of a play. You see a 75-yard touchdown run by Jeremy Cox. You see 6 guys downfield. You see 4 linemen 30 yards downfield, and say, you know what, that's Old Dominion football. That's how we play, and that's what we need to get back to. As I mentioned right after the game when you and I talked, it was turnovers. 4 turnovers, you're not going to win turning it over 4 times, and poor tackling. Those were the 2 things.
When you prepare for the next game, because yes, the sun does rise and you move on, what percentage, or how do you determine how much you dwell on the past and learn from the past, and how much do you just flush it and move forward?
Yeah, so much with young people is about confidence. You know, even the coaches, everybody's confidence is a little shook right now, but you need to believe in yourself and believe in what you're doing, and that's the most important thing I reiterated with the staff yesterday and the players. Look, we have a system here that's we won a lot of football games in this system. Just believe in yourself. We're battling through some injuries. We're battling through some new players that are trying to adjust and adapt, those type of things, and you have to stick to what you know. So it's getting right back to what we know we can do and what we can do well, and that's the basic premise, Ted. And I don't care what you do in life. Number one, you got to take ownership when it doesn't go well. Pointing fingers at other people doesn't solve anything. So it starts with the head coach. I have to do a better job. The coaches have to do a better job. And I'm going to meet with our Unity Council this morning, our 15-player leadership group that was voted on by the players, and we're going to sit and discuss and talk about ideas of how we can get ourselves back to where we know we should be.
How can you learn at this stage of a season to tackle better? Was it a technique thing? Was it an out-of-position thing? Was it a fatigue thing? What do you think it was?
A combination of all those things. Number one, you're on the field for 91 plays, and that was our own fault. You know, 15 for 25 on 3rd down and 4th down. You're going to have a lot of plays that are run against you, and we're better tacklers than that. There were too many times, Ted, we were leaving our feet, or we were ducking our head, and then Howell or Singletary would spin move, and both very good backs. You know, as you know, we've seen them for a couple years now, but the basic fundamentals of what we do well, we weren't doing in that game, and then frustration set in, and we forgot how to do those things. So we've got to get back to that in practice, and the players understand it.
All right, we move on. No one's crying for Old Dominion, folks. A 10-3 team a year ago. You go off to Huntington to take on a Marshall team that seems to have turned it around.
Yeah, very good team, 4-1 at this point, Ted. They had a huge win 2 weeks ago at Cincinnati. Then last week, they were at Charlotte, you know, and Charlotte was with them right to the end. It was 14-3, and Charlotte was driving. Their quarterback, Chase Litton's playing well. They've got the leading defense in the league right now. In terms of points per game. They're playing at a high level, but these are the games you want to be in. You want to be in these challenges. Should be a great environment, a great place to play football.
And the point of emphasis for you at practice this week?
We'll get right back to fundamentals, do the fundamental things well, because that builds confidence when you're throwing and catching, when you're blocking, when you're tackling, when you're doing those things. That breeds confidence, and that's what we need to get ourselves back to.
Coach, appreciate the time. Best of luck this week, and we'll see you in Huntington.
And a happy holiday to everyone today,
Chris
including
Columbus,
you.
Thank you so much for what you did, or else we wouldn't be spinning footballs in an office. For the coach, Bobby Wilder, I'm Ted Alexander. This has been Wake Up with Wilder on Monarch Media.